Now what do you got going on? There's a guy in Staten Island who he's not like I'm watching this guy on TV. And I mean no disrespect, but he's not a TV guy. He's not a public figure kind of person. He's a regular guy. And so he's not giving you that polished politician answer. They're like, why are you opening your bar and defying these lockdowns? And he's just like, we got to do something. Like they're destroying us. It's like we have nothing left. And they pointed something out. It's really crazy, the Staten Island story. They said this bar where the guy defied the police line up and block the entrance. These cops are nuts. They were like 2 blocks away. Everything's normal. Restaurants, dining, totally normal. What happens is de Blasio just decides this is a red zone, and they put on the ground with like, it's like paint or something, a sign saying danger zone or something. It's the creepiest thing. Just segmenting off parts of the city saying your business is done. It feels like mafioso. Like what their goal is, hey, my name is Bill de Blasio. Cuomo, come over here. We're going to shut down this part of the city so that all the property value collapses. Buy it up. He said he was going to do it. Bill de Blasio said he was going to do it.
I have to say, Bill de Blasio really loves to graffiti the streets in New York
Yeah,
City.
he does.
He seems to really have a knack for that. And it's just absolutely insane. Like, you won't be able to walk down to another street or another block or another neighborhood. The New York City subway system is still open and operating, and in many instances crowded with a large number of individuals. When you see, you know, the Como brothers, when you see the politicians, when you see them defying their own kind of rules and decrees, like, if you want people to take you seriously, you should take what policies you're proposing, what policies or decrees you're pushing on people. You should follow them as well, and they're not. They're openly celebrating Biden's victory. They're openly promoting Black Lives Matter protests because Black Lives Matter protests are essential and way more important than the conholio sickness, and it's absolutely ridiculous to see.
Listen, this is why I think I used to say, like, man, we're about to go over the edge, huh? I think we went over the edge a long time ago. We were falling for a long time. We hit the ground. Like, there's no going back from this. For a year now, we've seen Democrats flaunt their own rules. They say, oh no, we got to do all these things, and then they go to the opposite. Nancy Pelosi gets her hair done. Gretchen Whitmer, Lori Lightfoot. Then they do the lockdown again, saying things are getting so bad, we got to lock everything down. And then Newsom goes and parties with a bunch of doctors in a closed room, and then he's like, that was a mistake. Then all of these Democrats are flying to Hawaii for vacation. They're laughing in the faces of those, and they're destroying the lives of working class people. And where is Antifa? Nowhere to be found. They were screaming that there was a guy with an orange face, and then as soon as the orange guy leaves, they're like, okay, we're fine with the fascism now, bye.
Yeah, CNN goes after people who make memes that are against them and doxes them. Meanwhile, when you see a legitimate threat against the livelihood of individuals, this poor guy, he's trying to make ends meet. He's trying to make a living. He's trying to make sure his employees have a paycheck so they could actually eat. They could actually live in one of the most taxed, regulated, controlled cities in all of the United States. And you, after abiding by all the laws, after doing everything you're supposed to do, this guy also had a pretty good idea, I have to say. He declared his business an autonomous zone, just like Chaz. And he says, well, this is an autonomous zone. Because, again, when Chaz first started, this was nothing that was questioned, nothing that was stopped by the authorities, nothing that was, brought up as a health hazard of individuals camping together, staying together in close quarters without proper bathroom facilities. No one even talked about that. But you open up a business where you want to make a living for yourself, and this is the first of its case that I saw here in the United States where it actually led to an arrest. Right. This happened recently in Toronto.
It happened in Jersey.
Where people, the
gym owners.
Yes, the gym owners were.
There was the salon owners
arrested.
As well.
Yes. I remember even that was. I was at that gym. I was talking to the main gym owner. A friend was actually grew up with him. And was a high school friend of him. And what happened to them and what happens to individuals, it's mainly individuals who are standing up and they're raising their voice about how insane, how unjust, how unscientific, how illogical a lot of this is. And because of that, they get targets on their back, and the government sends out police officers who don't question anything, who many times follow decrees. These are not laws.
Right.
There's not even debates. These are not even laws that are codified.
It's just him ordering his Praetorian Guard to go abuse the peasants.
Yeah, not based off science. If you really do care about our personal well-being, maybe we could have a conversation about proper health, proper sleep, proper diet, proper exercise, making sure that we're not stressed out.
Gun safety training,
Yeah.
mandatory gun ownership,
Particularly
universal
diet.
gun programs where the government is mandated to give everyone a gun.
I like that idea. And
From the Department of Gun Services.
Dude, diet's huge. Obesity's insane
Exactly.
epidemic. High fructose corn syrup's just insidious, the way
Yes.
that they're injecting this stuff into our population.
Let me ask you though. You're from New York, right?
I moved from New York this year, and I moved up to the Live Free or Die state, New Hampshire,
That's
which
right.
has been an incredible experience.
Let me ask you. Do the police in New York swear an oath to the Constitution?
I'm not sure if they do, but
Do cops do that?
I don't know.
There's this duty to serve and protect, but legally, the New York City Police Department argued in court many times that they have no duty to
actually
protect you,
people.
to help you, or to do anything to you or for you. And this was exemplified by my friend Joe Lazito, that literally took down a mass murderer. There was a mass murderer on the loose. Police officers saw that this mass murderer was on the loose. They were inside of a train car watching as Joe Lazito was being stabbed. Joe Lazito watched. Yeah, I met Joe Lazito through a friend. I became friends with him, and he told me this story. I saw the scars on his head randomly at a bar,
The guy was stabbed,
and I'm like,
right?
my goodness, like I need to share your story. And yeah, I mean, he had a butcher knife, stabbed in the head, almost lost his life, bled out everywhere after taking down the killer. Joe Lazito took down the killer, badly injured. Police officers, only after he was taken down, came out of that subway cart, and then they handcuffed the criminal, and they waited, and they even derailed the train from moving because of official protocol, which made Joe Lazito bleed out. He woke up in the hospital with Mayor, I think it was Bloomberg at the time, congratulating these two officers that stood back as heroes who took down a murderer, and they called him a victim. He sued the city. The city argued, we had no duty to protect you as you were getting stabbed, as we had guns and clubs and could have stopped this man almost killing you. We didn't have to.
So what you're saying is defund the police?
Not quite.
I mean, again, there's other examples we could talk about, such as Chiron, that I personally traveled to, which are these autonomous kind of zones where there are no police, where there are no governments. I think there is
Well,
something.
everyone's got guns, security.
Well, they live in their own land, 30,000 people in Chiron, where they decide what they're going to
Mexico?
do themselves. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
in Michoacan. It's in one of the deadliest states of all of Mexico that is reporting no deaths after the population rose up with small arms, with pitchforks, with knives, and threw out the cartel, the police department,
people-
and the government that were all working in tandem. And now they're living more prosperous than ever. There hasn't been a murder in that town for, I think, 7 years now. I did a full documentary traveling down there. 30,000 people. Yes, they're armed. They have their own guns, of course.
Here's what people don't get. What's the point of an occupation, a military occupation? You want people to give you something. You want to control the land for some strategic resource, or you want the people to give you a portion of their labor and resources. You want stuff. You want it from them. What happens if they all say no? Then occupation gets you nothing. What can you do if the people won't give you what you want? So it's not even about small arms. It's about just defiance. And at a certain point, you're like, it costs me more trying to get these defiant people to do anything they won't do. These people on the left, they don't realize when they talk about, insurrection and revolution and civil war, whatever. The Second Amendment, that's meaningless because the government has, cruise missiles. And it's like, bro, read your history
I'm
on
laughing
Vietnam.
in Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Tunnels,
mean about
man.
this.
It's about tunnels. That's what the Vietnamese did. Giant tunnels.
It's just about having people say no. Say no. Look, right now, if everybody in Staten Island, what are they going to do? The cops are going to be like, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's it. They have to bring in these cops from outside these areas to enforce this stuff too, because they'd be like their aunt would come out with a rolling pin and being like, "What you doing? Get out of here!" So they bring in guys from other parts of the city and they move them down and they have them enforce laws that nobody wants. And it's crazy to me that even though you have this guy in Staten Island, he defies this, they're all still doing everything by the appropriate CDC guidelines. They're just not shutting their doors. And then the cops come out. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out And we will see you all next time.